Tom in Leeds. Tom, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Daniel. Yeah, thanks for taking my call. It's great to speak to you. I'm calling on behalf of my wife about an employment law issue concerning potential maternity discrimination and an unfair dismissal. And I'd like your opinion on if we think that she has a potential claim and next steps to progress the issue if possible.
Yep.
So she was advised just before she returned to work that she was at risk of redundancy. And the reason for the redundancy given was a cost-cutting exercise due to a lot of clients. So her role as a junior director, her responsibilities would be picked up by more senior directors in the business. She's been told on several occasions, verbally and in writing, that there's no other current vacancies at the business for her to be moved to or to apply to. She subsequently found through engaging with some recruiters that the firm has actually been recruiting for a number of weeks for a director role that she would be appropriate for. They're at second stage interview with those as well. We raised a formal grievance with them about this and other matters about the redundancy as well. They've denied that the job that was being advertised was appropriate for her and that it was for a much, much more senior role and that the recruiter had the details wrong and the wrong salary. Following that, though, we've also found a second recruiter who was also advertising under the same description and very similar salary. So we feel as though they're trying to remove her from the company whilst, recruiting quietly at the same time. And they've been caught and are kind of trying to deny the fact now.
Yeah. So a couple of questions, Tom. First of all, has your wife actually returned to work or is she still on maternity leave?
She has returned to work, yes.
Right. If she's been selected for one other question. Is she the only person being made redundant or is she part of a larger group?
She's the only person selected, yeah.
How many people in the company in total?
I'd say 30 to 40.
What sector is the company in? What sort of business?
It's marketing.
Okay. So if somebody is dismissed under the guise of redundancy because they've been away on maternity and the company just doesn't want them back, that's an automatic unfair dismissal. It's also sex discrimination. Park that, I'll come back to it. However, if during somebody's maternity the company has realised that it genuinely has no need for that role and it's not going to recruit to replace that role several years or several months down the line, it's not going to be an automatic unfair dismissal. It is a potentially fair dismissal. However, any tribunal is going to be deeply, deeply suspicious, particularly if there are suitable jobs available and they're not offered to your wife. Triply suspicious if there are suitable jobs available, they're not offered to your wife, and the employer has lied about those jobs by saying, the recruiter advertised them at the wrong salary and gave the wrong description. And the fact that you found a second recruiter also offering a similar salary for that role, I'm not quite sure how it's similar. Surely the same role would be advertised at the same salary, Tom?
It's a similar rate. It's like five grand difference in the same range, though.
But if it's the same job, wouldn't two recruiters given the same brief be given the same salary?
You would presume so, yeah. But I mean, the job that they're saying they were actually recruiting for is double the salary that both recruiters advertised. Okay.
What's the difference between what the recruiters are advertising the salary rate at and what your wife was earning?
5,000, something like that.
So broadly similar.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Right. Have you got copies of the adverts from the recruiters, from both recruiters?
Yes, both of them, yeah.
Good. Are those adverts still live?
They are not. No, they've pulled them. They've confirmed that the firm has asked them to remove them.
OK, that obviously counts against you, but it could be because they just don't want the evidence for an employment tribunal rather than being evidence that the jobs were wrongly advertised. Has the firm filled the post yet? I assume not.
No.
If they decided to get rid of her because she was on maternity, that is plainly unfair dismissal and sex discrimination, unless they realise they genuinely didn't need the job, in which case it could be a fair redundancy. It's very difficult to know which one it is in a lot of situations, and frankly, Tom, it needs a tribunal to make that decision. Or it needs some form of settlement between you and your wife. Between your wife and the firm. I would definitely pursue this, though. Just be aware that if she brings a claim, she's going to struggle to get a good reference out of this business.
Yes.
Legally, it's unlawful for them to give a bad reference because she's brought a claim, but we live in the real world and they can do things that make it harder for her to get a new job. But I think she should definitely be bringing a claim here. Is she a member of a union?
She's not, no.
All right. The first thing to do is to contact ACAS.
Okay.
And ACAS have something called early conciliation, which is a necessary step. It's a tick box on the way to bringing a tribunal claim. Contact ACAS, ask to start early conciliation, and ACAS will essentially say to the employer, do you want to settle with Tom's wife? And if the employer says no, you then get to fill in a claim form to the tribunal. You can't do it before you've been to ACAS. And you can then go to a tribunal. Now, it takes 12 to 18 months to get a tribunal hearing date. And the amount of your wife's compensation, assuming she wins, is made up of two things. First of all, the loss of earnings she suffered during any period of unemployment. So if she gets a job within a month, earning a better salary, her financial losses will be small. Mm-hmm. But if she's still unemployed in 12 to 18 months' time, there's a lot of potential money there.
Yeah,
Plus, it's made up of a very small amount to reflect dismissal, which is similar to a redundancy payment. And if she's been given a redundancy payment, she won't get that payment a second time round. So it's basically just the loss of earnings and also something for injury to feelings, typically around the £15,000 mark.
Okay. Right.
I'd definitely go down the tribunal route. She's got very little to lose and she'll probably get a good settlement out of it. Do you want a recommendation for a really good solicitor who specialises in this sort of discriminatory dismissal?
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
I'd recommend a firm called Didlaw, Didlaw. Didlaw.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure they give 30-minute consultations over the phone, but just look them up, give them a ring, and they're the people I'd recommend speaking to.